Chapter 3, Mission Super Learner. That's impossible, Caleb thought, squeezing his eyes shut and counting to 10 with a firm voice. Slowly he reopened his eyes, fully expecting to be by himself behind the vacant house. He wasn't. The stranger who claimed to be him was sitting calmly in front of him. Caleb studied him closely. The stranger did look a lot like Caleb. It was almost like he was looking into a mirror. I must be imagining this, Caleb thought, out loud this time. Nope, actually happening, Caleb, said the stranger, smiling cheerfully. Caleb had loved the idea of time travel in science fiction stories, but the thought that it could be real was impossible to comprehend. How could he prove to this stranger that there was some mistake, and he was not actually the older version of himself? Caleb had a sudden thought and reached down to tug at the hem of his right pant leg. Gently pulling the fabric up, he exposed the 6-inch backwards L-shaped scar on his lower right shin. The result of a tumble when learning to ride his bike, his dad had later referred to it as his check mark, certifying that he had successfully passed his survival test and would be a master bike rider. Proud of himself for laying the ultimate challenge down to the stranger, he looked up triumphantly. What he saw shocked him. While he had been pulling his own pant leg up, so had the stranger. Now Caleb was looking at an exact copy of his scar, right in front of him. In precisely the correct spot, on the stranger's leg. The look of triumph slowly slid from his face. The stranger smiled. Do I get a check mark and pass this part of the test? He asked. Caleb's only response was to sit with his mouth hanging open. Gradually, he came to realize that a response was somehow being sought from him. He tried to speak. No words came out. He had so many questions, but he didn't know which ones to ask first, or how to ask them. I know you have many questions, Caleb. I remember being in your position. I'll do my best to clear them up for you. After that day, 8 years ago for me, I did come to understand, and I actually looked forward to working with time travel myself. It's something you can look forward to, Caleb. But first, the only way that you're going to become like me is if you get your learning skills in order, and start doing as well as you possibly can, with your school subjects. Success at school is going to open up incredible opportunities for you. I should know, I have lived through all the opportunities that will come your way. And they really are spectacular. Now, we don't have a huge amount of time, although our dad is going to forgive you tonight, when you arrive 43 minutes late for your curfew. Let's get started. The time had passed quickly. Caleb's mind was still reeling when he stumbled up the stairs to his front door. He was late, but apparently everything was going to be okay. He glanced at his watch as he stepped through the door. It was exactly 7:43. The conversation with his dad was a bit spooky. His dad was suddenly very understanding and didn't seem angry at all. He had just repeated the piece about talking to him when the time was right. Caleb couldn't quite interpret the slight smile on his face that seemed to suggest that he knew more about what was going on than what he was saying. Later, lying on his bed, Caleb attempted to sort out all the information he had received. It had been a good hour and a half of details crammed into his head about the first few steps at getting on the path for future success. It had ended with a suggestion that they would meet again. Caleb had been so overwhelmed that he had not asked when that would happen. He had a feeling that the timeline would be affected by what he did with the information he had been given so far. Looking around his room, his gaze falling on his stack of homework, he realized he had little time to lose. Sitting up, he extracted the crumpled notes from his pocket. He had tried to write down the most important points, in case he couldn't recall them later. His future self hadn't stopped him, but he had mentioned that there was some sort of web portal that held the information for him to refer to. Flipping open his laptop computer, he decided that was the best place to start. Typing in the URL address, he got the sense that there was going to be something odd about the site he was visiting. When www.xi4H84742I382C32A92L279E59BZ.com was all typed in and he hit return after the last character was typed, the screen flashed a yellowy green. Then the words "Hi Caleb" gradually came into focus. The program audio commenced, in his voice, along with on-screen words. "Hi Caleb. Your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to become a super learner and make all your dreams come true." Wow, impressive, Caleb thought, in awe as the words sunk in. I had been hoping for something to make me successful. That thought did not last long. The words on the computer screen continued, along with the audio. "This computer program, along with your computer, and everything within 3 meters, will self-destruct in 10 seconds. What? Caleb shrieked. No. The numbers counted down on the computer screen. There appeared to be an explosion of some kind, and everything went black. When the video resumed after a pause of several seconds, Caleb realized he had been holding his breath. With a sigh, he exhaled and breathed again, this time deeply. The audio had started up again. "Just kidding. This stuff isn't going anywhere. This is the secret to your future. You will realize incredible success when you follow these steps. I know, because, in the future, I am you. We do extremely well in school, and we are able to achieve all of our dreams." Still slightly shaken from what he considered to be a very ill-timed joke, Caleb leaned back to watch what was coming next. Up came someone named Matteo, who claimed to know his older self and had news that all his dreams would be achieved. The tips and strategies were apparently going to help him with his learning, and ensure him of a fantastic life. "Talk about an attention getter," Caleb exclaimed as he settled in to listen and watch.